PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
Arizona PBS provides great musical performances all year long, and now we have some of the best seats to see your favorite acts live and in concert. Arizona PBS Box Office presents a backstage pass to meet world-class performers. Arizona PBS Box Office presents a chance to see exciting performances before they sell out. This month, Arizona PBS Box Office presents Grammy Award-winning Diana Krall, performing in concert at Phoenix Symphony Hall on Wednesday, August 9th.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
My child who's watching Super Y, and it said, what letter makes the sound R? And my 2-year-old is jumping up and down going, R, R, R. I love that. I wish I knew the genius that came up with Dinosaur Train. I mean, what little boy especially doesn't like dinosaurs and trains and to put them together in one show? My family does without a lot of stuff, but I would be horrified if we had to do without PBS.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Next time on Death in Paradise.
The victim's name is Touch Walker.
A man is murdered after his expedition strikes it rich.
Santa Ana Silva. Do you mean like actual treasure?
The victim identified his killer with a final phone call.
He said he was on your boat and that you stabbed him.
And there's this.
I killed Touch Walker.
Sorry, what?
So why isn't Humphrey convinced?
What more do you want?
Find out on Death in Paradise.
Thursday night at 9 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Hospice of the Valley, medical, social, and spiritual care for patients nearing end of life, and support for their families. A not-for-profit community hospice, HOV.org.
From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
A new law that could come in effect in August expands eligibility for Arizona's school voucher program. We tell you what this means for students in the Valley.
Blood donations are at a critical low. American Red Cross tells us how you can help in your community.
And 4th of July celebrations aren't festive for everyone. How animal shelters are helping our furry friends after the holiday weekend.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Madison Connor.
And I'm Felisa Gardenas. Thank you for joining us. The White House wants states to hand over data from their voter rolls to a special commission that is looking at ways to improve the integrity of U.S. elections. But Arizona, for one, has refused. Cronkite News reporter Emma Walker in our Washington bureau tells us why Arizona is having second thoughts and what other states are doing.
Yeah, the request came from an advisory panel that Donald Trump appointed following his claim that there were millions of illegally cast votes in the last election. Now, that claim has been rejected by many officials and experts, but could be to blame for the standoff this week between the panel and states. Arizona joined numerous states that denied requests for voter registration data from the Presidential Advisory Commission on Election Integrity. The commission's goal is to ensure voter integrity in federal elections, but state officials say they have to safeguard their own voter rolls too, a reaction that puzzles one member of the White House panel.
I think their reactions are somewhat bizarre, and they obviously don't seem to understand the applicable law that says that they have to make this information available.
But Arizona Secretary of State Michelle Reagan says she won't. In a letter Monday, she said collecting that information could implicate serious privacy concerns shared by many.
This is complete federal overreach, and it truly discredits the hard work of secretaries of states and election officials across our country.
Advocates of the voter data request say they are only asking for public information.
Well, I think it's a basic step that's necessary to do the kind of research into finding out just how accurate our voter registration lists are.
Still, opponents in some states say the request violates state privacy laws. Reagan's letter says that the state is willing to work with the panel to make elections safer, but that handing over the data would not be in the best interest of the state. We checked with the National Association of Secretaries of State that said as of today, there are still a handful of states still considering the request, but a total of 44 states, including Arizona, are still saying they will not provide all data. Live in Washington, Emma Lockhart, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News also reached out to Maricopa County Recorder Adrian Fontes. He says he hasn't received any requests from the commission yet, but if it allowed under Arizona statutes, he will comply.
I did see the request that was refused by the Secretary of State. And the problem that I have with that request is that it indicates that whatever information they're going to get, they'd be disseminating widely. And that's exactly against Arizona law. You know, there are groups like research groups, advocacy groups, political parties, and other folks who get this information. Only the information that's available through public records, of course, not a lot of sensitive identifying information. And they use it for research purposes or within political campaigns.
Information provided included whether a person voted in a particular election, but not the details of who he or she voted for.
When Arizona students return to school in August, it could be under a new law. SB 1431 expands the eligibility of Arizona school voucher program. Cronkite News reporter Noelle Lilly spoke with both opponents and supporters of the bill to find out what Arizona parents and students can expect this fall.
Earlier this year, Governor Doug Ducey signed a bill that would make all 1.1 Arizona school children eligible for the state's voucher program. That law will take effect on August 9th of this year, but not if grassroots groups like Save Our Schools Arizona have anything to do with it.
Arizona's public school system is already one of the worst funded. It's the least invested in the entire country. We should not be finding and designing programs that take even more money away from these starving schools that serve 95% of our kids.
Arizona's voucher program, the Empowerment Scholarship Account, was first created in 2011 primarily for students with disabilities. Families are given money that would otherwise be used for their students' public school. Instead, parents can use this money to pay for a private or religious school.
Arizona was the pioneer in developing these. The idea behind education savings accounts is really to empower parents to customize the education of their child.
At a panel discussion with the Urban Institute, Wolf said that studies have shown that these programs often benefit their public school counterparts.
Teachers and administrators say that it can be easier for them to educate the students who remain because they all want to be there. Public school performance actually goes up when private school choice initiatives are launched or expanded.
But SOS Arizona says the program doesn't have enough restrictions. States like Indiana set an income cap to decide who can receive the vouchers in order to prioritize low-income families who wouldn't be able to afford private school. This is not the case in Arizona.
We see the statistics in Arizona year after year after year that vouchers only help affluent families.
SOS Arizona says they hope to fight the law and are currently petitioning to have it pushed to the 2018 November ballot. The group has to collect 75,321 signatures from Arizonans by August 1st. In Washington, Noelle Lilly, Cronkite News.
Applications for the voucher program will be on a first-come, first-served basis. But Department of Education officials say applications under the new qualifications are not yet being accepted.
A protest is planned tomorrow night outside Mesa Police Headquarters. A civil rights activist is calling for acts of civil disobedience after he says a black man was beaten by Mesa officers. Patricio Espinoza was at the news conference this morning. Patricio?
Yes, Reverend Jarrett Maupin held a news conference this morning. He claims Jason Michael Barden was assaulted by 2 Mesa police officers last June, accusing Barden of jaywalking. The arrest and alleged assault was caught on cell phone video. However, we're not going to show you this video since Cronkite News cannot confirm the identity of those involved due to the poor video quality. We can tell you that Mesa Police confirms an arrest occurred last June 19 in Mesa at the corner of Main and Extension. At the news conference, Barton said he was crossing the street when two Mesa police officers approached and eventually detained him.
It was uncalled for. And the reason they stopped me is because I'm a black man walking.
People are very angry about the beating that he went through. They're extremely angry, and it's a critical time for our community. We're encouraging everyone to remain nonviolent, even counter-protesters.
Jason Barton court hearing is next week. He faces charges including resisting arrest and marijuana possession. Maupin also accuses the Mesa Police Department of, quote, systemic racial profiling and is asking for an independent investigation. We contacted the Mesa Police Department, and while they confirmed the arrest, the alleged beating is under investigation. The rally begins at 7 p.m. tomorrow night at outside Mesa Police Headquarters. In the broadcast center, Patricio Espinosa, Cronkite News.
The American Red Cross is facing a blood shortage across the country and is issuing an emergency call for donations. Cronkite News reporter Holly Bernstein went to a blood donation location to find out the reason behind the shortage.
The Red Cross says blood donations have fallen short for the past 2 months. This means there are about 61,000 fewer donations than needed here in the U.S.
You never know when someone's going to need something.
Angela Charles is a regular blood donor who has been donating blood for over 30 years. She says she needed transfusions when she was born, and her siblings have had operations as well. She says the biggest impact donating blood can have is saving lives.
I know if I was in that situation, I'd want someone to help me.
The Red Cross says blood donations are being distributed to hospitals faster than donations are coming in. Rita Javicki, who is an account manager with Red Cross, says there's an urgent need for blood right now because donors are traveling and on summer vacation.
So the last one that we had was during the holidays, during the winter, and right now because of the 4th of July weekend and people traveling for the summer months.
According to Welch, the Red Cross must collect nearly 14,000 blood donations every day for patients at approximately 2,600 hospitals across the country. The Red Cross has added more than 25,000 additional appointment slots at donation centers throughout the United States. Charles says she would encourage others to donate blood.
Just think about your family, you know? Would you want to have blood ready for them if something happened?
Every 2 seconds in the United States, blood is needed to respond to patient emergencies. If you want to donate blood, you can visit redcrossblood.org to see the list of 40 blood drives being held all around Arizona. Holly Bernstein, Cronkite News.
Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich is leading the charge to stop scam calls across the country. Brnovich sent a letter to the FCC asking that phone companies be allowed to block illegal robocalls. At the moment, phone providers aren't able to prevent owners from receiving these incoming calls. But if new rules are adapted, companies would be able to block invalid and allocated numbers, as well as numbers blocked by phone owners. A group of 29 bipartisan attorney generals joined Brnovich in signing the letter. Many homes celebrated the 4th of July with families and fireworks, but not everyone enjoys it.
With all the loud pops and noises, some dogs escape their homes. Coming up on Cronkite News, the message from one Valley family who experienced this heartbreak after the holiday.
And a way to keep cool this summer isn't just by the pool. How this Scottsdale business is taking hydration to another level.
I think I finally found my hallelujah. I've been waiting for this moment all my life now. All my dreams are coming true, yeah. I've been waiting for this moment. It's good to be alive right about now. Right about now.
hastily from 36. And he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Keeping one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong. Do you believe
it? Senator John McCain took his 4th of July festivities overseas and paid tribute to those who serve our country. Over the holiday weekend, he led a group of senators from both parties to Pakistan and Afghanistan. The senators made several visits to U.S. troops to thank them personally. During the trip, the delegate met with local leaders, including Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani, to discuss plans of combating terrorism. Early yesterday, McCain shared a 4th of July video thanking all soldiers and veterans.
A 76-year-old man is arrested after a wrong-way wreck killed a motorcyclist on the I-17 yesterday. Arizona Department of Public Safety says the man was arrested on suspicion of DUI and homicide. This crash caused I-17 to be backed up for several hours during the holiday. In June, Governor Doug Ducey pushed for a new motion sensor system to be installed this fall to help warn motorists of wrong-way drivers.
The 4th of July is known for backyard barbecues and fireworks, but it's a tough time for our pets, with hundreds in Arizona running away from home because of fireworks. Cronkite News reporter Tyler Fingert spent the day at 2 Valley animal shelters, where they're expecting more dogs to walk through their doors.
It's something the Arizona Humane Society and Maricopa County Animal Care and Control see every year. Dogs running away from home, all because of fireworks on the 4th of July and New Year's. This year was the same. As fireworks exploded in the night sky, the search for dogs who ran away began.
It means everything to her. I feel awful. So hopefully we can find them.
For Laura Schiffmacher and her son Ryan, this 4th of July was heartbreaking.
He just ripped his leash right out of my hand and took off in the canal, and he was gone so fast we just couldn't even see which way he went.
The 1-year-old dog named Spooky got spooked. For the Arizona Humane Society, the holiday weekend proved busy as a lot of dogs ran away.
The Arizona Humane Society's emergency animal medical technicians spent yesterday rounding up stray pets who were frightened by the fireworks. Today will also be a busy day.
This guy here is one of 1,000 dogs and cats here at the Maricopa County Animal Care and Control Shelter. Today they expect to get even more.
We are currently full. Our kennels, we opened this morning with no empty kennels essentially. So staff has been in the process of trying to pair up dogs.
Back with the Schiffmacher family after spending all night searching, they finally found him.
I looked at him and he looked at me and he started pulling, and I ran over and just started crying and hugged the guy who brought him in.
The now reunited dog is heading home, but the family has one important message. They say bringing found and stray dogs to the county shelter is important, so owners like them can search in one centralized location. Tyler Fingert, Cronkite News.
The heat is still taking over the valley.
And many have found various ways to cool down this summer, but some have found a unique way. Coming up on Cronkite News, how some are going to a new height to stay cool and hydrated.
And we have monsoons coming up and an excessive heat warning coming up.
Fascinating. You know, sometimes I wish I wasn't so beloved.
Wow.
Baby, I'm howling for you.
It's literally one for the history books.
Enjoy.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy.
energy in the fingertips. Relax.
TV played Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
The Goodwin wildfire is almost fully contained, but now officials say it's time to prepare for possible post-fire flooding. With chances of monsoon weather this weekend, mayor officials will hold a meeting tonight to discuss flood prevention. Officials say containment of this fire would have been sooner, but firefighter aircrafts were grounded after another civilian drone flew over the fire. And the Burro wildfire in Pima County continues to burn in the Santa Catalina Mountains and is moving south. Police have evacuated the areas around Mount Lemmon, including the tourist town of Summer Haven. Air tankers and helicopters are assisting a ground force that includes hundreds of firefighters.
I believe we have 461 personnel now on the fire. We're working very hard to continue strengthening the perimeter lines.
Firefighters are using closed roads and natural barriers to try to block the spread of the wildfire. That means Mount Lemmon Highway and Reddington Pass Road will continue to be closed. As these wildfires are heating up, so does our temperatures here in the valley.
The National Weather Service issued an excessive heat warning effective through Friday. Our weather reporter Blakely McHugh has your full forecast so you can plan ahead.
The high today was 112 with calm winds, and it marks another day of that excessive heat warning. Everything in the pink zone, you want to make sure you're staying hydrated and staying indoors because this is where that warning is happening right there. And let's look at what the temperatures are across the state. We're at our 113 in Lake Havasu, 93 in Grand Canyon, and 105 down in Tucson. Now across the valley, we're seeing the same in the hundreds, 110 in Goodyear, 109 in Chandler at 6 p.m. And let's jump 2 hours to 8 to 9 o'clock, 102 in Scottsdale and 99 in Casa Grande. Now looking at that 7-day forecast, we're going to be 116 on Friday, and then we're going to start seeing this cloud coverage coming in Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, where those monsoons might be coming in. Cronkite weather, Blakely McHugh.
Here in the valley, we're used to extreme heat this time of year. Common sense tells us to stay cool and drink plenty of water, but as Cronkite News reporter Tyler Paley found out, there's a more direct approach to staying hydrated this summer.
Believe it or not, it's a concept that's been around for 6 decades.
Vitamin therapy itself has actually been around since the late 50s.
IV hydration therapy is one way to beat the heat this summer. It's unconventional, but it sends vitamins and nutrients directly to your bloodstream.
Helps you think better, sleep better, feel better, look better. It's got skin benefits. So there's really a variety of things people come in for.
Most of our clients either use us for optimal health and wellness, for beauty, for exercise prep and recovery.
It's a process that takes about 20 to 30 minutes. Registered nurses administer the IV while customers relax and get rehydrated.
It's 100% bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs it right away and 100% of what's being put in. Versus when we eat or drink anything orally, a lot of it's broken down in the digestive tract.
Many times people won't realize they're dehydrated because they sweat less in the dry Arizona heat. But Kelly says it's important that people understand their bodies are still losing nutrients.
What I think some people are less aware of is kind of that dehydration at that cellular level, and they might not recognize the signs and symptoms of that as being dehydration.
Customers say it takes no time at all to feel the effects. Take it from Brent Burge, a Valley native and an IV hydrator for the last 10 years.
You can feel in 5 or 10 minutes once the drip starts, your eyes start to open up, you become more aware. You find a smile back on your face.
And of course, the experts say keep that H2O close by.
We always want to drink water. Our body, our brain is, high parts water, so of course it's not a substitute.
Both businesses offer a concierge service as well, so customers can get IV hydration therapy from the comfort of their own home or office. In Scottsdale, Tyler Paley, Cronkite News.
Treatments range from about $100 to $200. According to Columbia School of Medicine, there are risks with getting an IV. Infections can occur and more serious complications like a blood clot and inflammation of the vein can also occur.
Some Valley residents play fetch with their dogs, and some residents bring them along for their daily workout.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we give you a closer look at dog yoga.
'cause you're a dreamer. Don't hide it from anyone. Don't hide it from anyone. Hey, would you believe me if I said we are here for a reason now? This is our life. This is what counts. This is for us. I will go anywhere for you.
If you've ever felt guilty about leaving your pet at home for a workout, Doga might be just what you're looking for. Cronkite News reporter Andrea Boyd tells us about the new popular practice.
And I tried all kinds of healing, and it wasn't until I got on the mat with my dogs that my life started to come back together. It was so healing for me. I came back to life.
Amy Hyatt is one of a growing number of devotees to yoga with dogs, or Doga, which originated in 2001 with founder and creator Susie Teitelman. She developed the first Doga studio in New York City. Now it has spread and is especially popular in places like Phoenix and Los Angeles.
I was doing yoga and I was going to class every day. And I just, in the back of my mind, just was thinking, I want my dogs. Why can't my dogs be in class with me?
Hyatt is a popular Doga instructor and a passionate believer in its healing powers.
Being in these environments, I just slowly, I gradually started to heal. And I never wanted it to stop. Yes, I do a practice without them, but it's better with. It's more healing.
I always tell my friends about this who have dogs of any age, size, breed, whatever, to come and try this because it's just such a great experience to do something with your dog that is both beneficial to you and your dog at the same time.
I'm not looking to do the next, gimmick. Oh, let's do Doga and, go wild. I don't care if you can do yoga or not, but everybody can stretch a little. Everybody can breathe and touch. That's what Doga is for me.
In Los Angeles, Andrea Boyd, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, we'll talk with ASU law professor Paul Bender about the major cases decided by the U.S. Supreme Court in its latest session, plus what impact new Justice Neil Gorsuch has had on the court. That's the next Arizona Horizon.
I'm William Brangham. On the next NewsHour, our Leading Edge team fills us in on the economic impact of climate change and the effects of a popular insecticide on the health of bees. That's Wednesday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thanks for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.
It was a time when legends were made. But what are the true stories of the Wild West? Discover the facts behind the myths. From Sitting Bull to the real Billy the Kid, America's past comes alive on the Wild West.
Tonight at 9 on Arizona PBS. Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS. a community service of Arizona State University.
We know how much you love Arizona PBS, and we love you for it. That's why we're offering an opportunity to loyal viewers to be part of our behind the scenes as a volunteer tour guide at our studios. Share your knowledge and enthusiasm with students and visitors of all ages. You'll cover topics including media, technology, higher education, and everything Arizona PBS. Simply visit our website to apply before the deadline. Qualified candidates will attend a brief meet and greet, and you'll soon be ready for training. Positions will fill fast, so apply today. Thank you.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World.
Hi, I'm Charlie Rose. As part of the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication at ASU, Arizona PBS is providing a state-of-the-art venue for the next generation of journalists. From newsrooms in Washington, Los Angeles, and here in Phoenix, students engage in real-time, real-world news reporting, broadcast production, and online innovation. The Cronkite School and Arizona PBS working together in new ways to bridge the classroom to the community in the digital age.
Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Next time on Father Brown.
This lad is going all the way.
A local boxer is set for the big fight.
I've managed to bag us some front row seats.
But a man from his gym is killed.
Tripped and fell.
You think he might have been pushed?
I'm not ruling it out.
And when Father Brown investigates a mobster...
You don't say no to Dennis Nelson.
We make a good team, Father Brown.
He may be in over his head.
The father could be next.
Father Brown.
Saturday night at 7 on Arizona PBS.
Next time on A Place to Call Home.
I'll stay at the guest cottage.
When George and Regina stay at Ash Park.
Do you know what this business is with Anna's book?
Elizabeth's plan is put into action.
Mother wants to talk to you about your book. You've written a book?
But will they finally expose Regina?
I do believe the ends justify the means.
Or will it all backfire?
Has George seen this? He will.
A Place to Call Home.
Saturday night at 9 on Arizona PBS. Support for Arizona PBS comes from viewers like you and from
Friendship Village Tempe, a retirement community for over 30 years, offers independent living with residency options, lifelong learning classes, as well as continuing care. Information at friendshipvillageaz.com.
Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we'll recap the U.S. Supreme Court's latest session, including a look at the impact of the High Court's newest justice, Neil Gorsuch. A Supreme Court review next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. It appears that the bribery case against a former state corporation commissioner could be part of a much larger investigation. That's according to the Arizona Capital Times, which reports that court documents filed earlier this week involving charges against former commission member Gary Pierce, his wife Sherry, along with developer George Johnson and lobbyist Jim Norton, show prosecutors wanting to protect information in that investigation so as not to damage a, quote, much larger and more intensive investigation. Prosecutors offered no other details. All of those indicted on the bribery, fraud, and conspiracy charges pleaded not guilty. Their trial date is set for October 3rd. U.S. Supreme Court's recent session included a number of high-profile cases, including President Trump's travel ban and a church and state issue regarding state programs. All this as a new justice took his place on the bench, with rumors that another justice could be ready to retire. Here now to talk about the High Court's latest session is our go-to guy for the Supreme Court. There he is, ASU Law Professor Paul Bender. There you are. Good to see you again.
Yes, and there's the Supreme Court. Let me start before going any further that I've heard rumors that Kennedy is thinking of retiring at the beginning of the term.
What do you think?
No chance.
Why?
Because think of what a disaster that would be for the court. He would leave the court with only 8 justices at the beginning of a term. He would have law clerks there at the beginning of the term without anybody to work for, and the court would be without a 9th justice for probably most of the term. as it was, because it can take a while for somebody to get confirmed. So if he were going to retire, he would have retired on the last day of the term. And in my view, that's sort of the most important thing that happened to the court this year, is that nobody retired on the last day of the term.
So basically, the longer, every day that goes by that he does not retire, less of a chance he's going to retire.
He won't. He will not voluntarily retire until the end of next term. There is a plausible case that he might wait till the end of the term, but I think he'll wait to see what happens. And one thing that is not going to encourage him to do that, I think, is the performance of his ex-law clerk, who is now his colleague.
Let's talk about Neil Gorsuch. Justice Gorsuch on the bench. First of all, has he made an impact so far? He hadn't been there very long.
It depends on what you mean by an impact. He returns the court in terms of the voting to the way it was before Scalia died. His votes, it looks like, are going to mirror Scalia's almost exactly. His tone is different. He's very calm and respectful in tone to his colleagues. He doesn't call them stupid and stuff like that the way Scalia did. And he doesn't go ranting and raving about the end of the world and things like that. I don't think he'll do that. But his votes are going to be, so far as he can